Okay, so very important thing what we have discussed in yesterday's class was the data link layer, about data link layer, what we call it as nodes, links. Okay, so with respect to any particular network, so how you can identify which are the components, or we call it as nodes, okay, and links, and what are the services that is provided by the data link layer. So I think hope everybody clear with the nodes here, the host and the source host and destination host, we call it as node, and followed by whatever the network components. Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So whatever the components you can see that are connected in the internet network, so those are also called example router, that is also called node. And the how this system, that is host node, is connected to router, okay, in a LAN, so that is represented with a link. Okay, so that is how you need to distinguish nodes and links. And you can see the first link, that is 1313. So this is link 1. Let me just write it, because you should not get confused once again what are nodes and links. Okay, so what are the links here? So this LAN 1, okay, and the link, I'll just represent number link 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, link number 1, 3 and 5 represent the LAN network. Okay, and 2 and 4 indicates the WAN network. So you can see, here something dotted, it is wide area network. So that is represented as WAN network, and remaining links are represented as a LAN network. So this is how you need to represent the nodes and links. And more important, so I have repeated so many times about the service of data link layer. From the OSI model also we have discussed each layer, what are the functionality. Okay, just know at least 3 to 4 functionality that is provided by the OSI layer or TCP IP model. So in this subject, they have given very importance to the TCP IP model, because the TCP IP model is that is used in real time. Okay, OSI model is just a reference model. From that, the TCP IP model is designed. Okay, just know the services, and you should be able to elaborate what is framing, what is the meaning of flow control, error control, congestion control. See, congestion control, it is with respect to the congestion in the network, but most of the protocol, it is implemented at the transport layer. Okay, you can just skip this congestion control. So you can just concentrate on these three services. Okay, so I have explained all these things. I think this one I have explained. This diagram is very, very important. Hopefully everybody understood this diagram. That is how to represent the address. Okay, that is IP address and MAC address. That is also called. You should be very clear, because in the first chapter itself we have discussed the logical address. Do you remember? Logical address is also called what? IP address. Okay, that is at the network layer. So this comes under network layer. Then we have physical address. Okay, physical address, or we can call it as a MAC address. Okay, so every system, it is assigned with a unique IP address and MAC address. So this is at the data link layer. So we have one more type of address, that is port address, that comes under transport layer. So as of now we are not discussing about the transport layer, so we'll just focus on to this. So according to this diagram, so the IP address, it is going to be retained same throughout the transmission of the packet. Okay, you can just observe N1 and N8, that is represented as IP address. Instead of taking number, you may get confused. Just we have considered some notation here. N1 and N8 are the IP address. So N1 is the source and this is destination. When it comes to the data link layer, that is physical address, so here this is the destination. First one, whatever you are representing, that is destination. But with respect to IP address, it is source. So destination address, that is the logical address, sorry, it is physical address, and L1 is the source physical address. Hello? Hello? you can directly join from the calendar. I have added in the team. You just go to the calendar, so there you will be getting option called join. So from there you can join. Okay, just a minute. I'll just send the link for today. Just give me a minute. Okay, you just trace the diagram. Okay, like how exactly the packet is moving. Okay, how exactly the packet is moving from source node to the destination. And every time when it reaches the each node, it is going to change the physical address. Okay, it is not going to do anything with respect to the IP address. So that clarification you should have. So hop to hop, physical data link layer is responsible for transmission of data hop to hop. Hop to hop means, so that is node to node. So your node can be a router or it can be any device. Okay, so you just learn the content that is present in the module 1, so that these are the easy things you can easily understand. Okay, so yesterday we discussed about 3 types of addresses. Unicast, that means one to one. If I want to speak to somebody else, okay, so Ashita, what I'll do, I'll directly call to her number. Okay, from my device I'll make a communication directly for her number. Okay, in case if I want to make a multicast, this is called unicast. Unicast means one to one. Okay, it is one to one. Multicast means a set of device. From me, example, we have a mentors group, no? So I have only few set of students that belongs to 4SEM. Okay, I can send message only to my group. Okay, where there are set of students are available. So in that case, it is going to send data from one device to the set of device. Okay, set of device. I am not sending to all 4SEM class. Only those students who belongs to my counseling, I am just sharing the information. Okay, maybe I have 5 to 6 students. I am just sending the information to 5 to 6 students. So that is called as multicast. Broadcast means, okay, I am sending message in your group, no, 4SEM group. Okay, where all the students are there. So that is called as broadcast. I am broadcasting the information to everyone. Okay, all 66 or 67 students, I'm just sending the message. Okay, so to everyone who are there in that group, so it is sent to everybody. So that is called as broadcast. Just know these terms. Okay, we'll be using these different types of addressing mechanism in the different protocols. Okay, so in the next topic itself, we are going to use what is the meaning of broadcast and what is the meaning of unicast. Okay, so when exactly we are using unicast and broadcast, we'll just check it. Just try to understand some, like you need to understand the concept with respect to something real-time example, so that you can remember the things properly. You can just remember this example. Okay, unicast means directly one from me to a particular student. Okay, then multicast means to set of students. Broadcast to means to everyone. Okay, who belongs to 4th semester, I am broadcasting the information to everyone. So like this, the different types of addresses are classified. This is done at the link layer. Okay. Okay, even I have specified the address notation, that is 48-bit hexadecimal number. It is used to represent the unicast and multicast. Okay, here the address is going to be unique. Only the particular set of addresses you are going to take and you are going to send the information to that address. This is not IP address. This is an example of physical address. Okay, a physical address, or we can call it as MAC address. Okay, and this is multicast also, it is saying. But in case of broadcast also, it is a MAC address, but here it is not going to be with respect to a specific device. It is going to be all the device. That's why, so all all the 48 bits are represented as 111, or if it is in hexadecimal, FFF. Okay, so this is the address that is used to represent the multicast. All the bits are represented as 1. If that indicates that it is a broadcast. Share the information to everyone connected in the network. Okay, so that's fine. So today we'll move on to one more protocol, very important protocol, that is called as address resolution protocol. See, whenever it requires for communication, okay, between the device in the network, consider it is not only one device connected, maybe set of devices are connected. Consider this is A and consider this is B, D, and this is B and device C. So now whenever device A want to communicate to D, it should be knowing its IP address and also MAC address. MAC address, or you can just use the term logical address. Okay, I'll be interchangeably I'll be using, or it is called physical address. So I told what is physical address in the beginning of the chapter. What is physical address? Can somebody tell where exactly it is available? IP address, you know that it is unique address assigned to each device. Okay, whenever the device to be identified in the network, it can be identified with the IP address. MAC address is nothing but it is the NIC address, NIC, that is network interface card address. So all your devices are installed with the NIC on this hardware. This is a hardware unit. Okay, so to connect to the internet, so it requires to install this NIC. Maybe I'll show you one image how it looks like. Okay, on this NIC, so there is a 48-bit number assigned. Okay, 48-bit number is assigned. So that is going to be the MAC address, or we call it as a physical address. Okay, is it clear? So what is the meaning of logical and a physical? So now if this is the case, whenever if the device want to send the data, it should be knowing both the address, okay, IP address and MAC address. So now we are not going to discuss like more on IP, that is going to be in the next class. So we'll focus on to the MAC address. But whenever the device want to communicate, it requires both address. In case, consider here, so okay, so consider device A want to send data to D. So in that case, if it is not knowing the IP address, consider even there is a router here. Okay, so consider A knows its IP address. Let me just write the packet format. So A knows its IP address, that is I will write A1 IP, sorry, A IP, then its own MAC address, A MAC address, then so it may be knowing the IP address, because whichever the device that is connected in the internet, so that all IP addresses it is stored at the router, that can be even known by this particular device. So that is IP address of the device D. But in case if it does not know the MAC address of this device, even this router is also not having that information. So now how to identify what is the MAC address of this device? Okay, so that is a situation where the ARP protocol is going to take care of identifying what is the MAC address. Okay, so the address here it is called as the protocol we are going to use to identify what is the MAC address of the device. We call it as address resolution protocol. Okay, it is also called, what is the purpose of this ARP is I have a IP address. Okay, you can just see I know the IP address of this device D. So having logical address, okay, having logical address, okay, so you need to convert this logical address into a MAC address. So what is the procedure used? What is the technique used? So this is called as logical address mapping to MAC address. So how this logical address is mapped to MAC address? So that is the process that is taken care by this ARP protocol. And opposite of this operation, okay, that is not part of syllabus, but this let you know the information. The opposite of this is, that is, in case if the device knows the a physical address, okay, that is nothing but the MAC address. Okay, if it want to know what is the IP address, so in that case it has to use the protocol called RARP. Okay, that is reverse address resolution protocol. See, these are all the very fundamental techniques or the protocols you should be knowing when you start learning about the networks. Okay, in the next semester also you have advanced part of the network. You should be familiar with all these key terms. Okay, wherever the term ARP comes, you should be knowing what exactly the function of this protocol. Okay, at least remember so much. That will be useful for the further study. Okay, so the main function of ARP is it associates an IP address with a physical address. Is it everybody clear? No doubt with respect to what I am using the term, the physical address and logical address. So don't get confused. If you want, you can just note down. So logical address is nothing but IP address. We have discussed this in the beginning of the chapter itself. Then physical address, whatever the term I use, you need to understand it is MAC address. Okay. So here ARP protocol, it is going to map the IP address. You can just see this is the network layer. Okay, it is knowing the IP address of that particular device. If it requires to convert that into the physical address. Okay, so in that case ARP protocol is required. Okay, ARP protocol is going to take care of conversion of this IP address to a link layer address. Link layer address is nothing but physical address. Okay, don't get confused with the terms. So how exactly this mapping takes place? Okay, it can be done in two ways. Okay, so that is not given in the textbook, but you just know the information. So how exactly it can be maintained? There are two methods. One is a static method called static mapping. Okay, you should be knowing what is the meaning of static. So your student list, it is static. Yes, no? So we know that there are 66 students. Okay, that is going to be static. It is not going to be dynamic. So in this static method, what happens? They are going to maintain a table. Okay, so in that table, for each logical address, so there is a corresponding physical address information is stored. Okay, it is going to be static. It is not going to change. In case if anything, if it requires, consider a particular device, if it is made a change in the network interface card. Okay, so that information, if it is not updated in this table, then so the data may be not delivered correctly. Okay, so that problem occurs in static mapping. Okay, even though it is easy, just maintain a set of physical and IP address table. Any doubts? But it is going to be static, even in case if any node is added. So all that information should be keep on updating here. So instead of going for this, we can go for dynamic mapping. Okay, what is the meaning of mapping here? Can somebody tell what I am talking with respect to mapping? Yes, what is the meaning of mapping here? Mapping, I am just talking. So the how IP address is converted or how IP address is mapped to the logical, not logical, physical address or MAC address. Okay, so how it is going to, what is the procedure or what is the protocol it is going to use. But in case of dynamic mapping, what happens is there is no table is maintained as and when the particular device want to send data. If it want to know what is the logical, knowing the logical address, what is the physical address, then it can go with a set of protocol called ARP protocol. Okay, so what is the function of this ARP protocol? It is going to find out, knowing the IP address. Okay, and it will find out what is the corresponding MAC address of the device, or what is, knowing the logical address, what is the physical address of the device can be find out using this ARP protocol. Okay, another protocol I told, that is RARP, that is a reverse of this. So knowing MAC address or physical address, it can map to, it can identify in the network what is the logical or IP address. Okay, is it clear? Is it clear? So next we'll move on how exactly this ARP is going to work. Okay, how this ARP is going to identify the mapping, or how it will, knowing the IP address, how it is going to find out what is the MAC address or physical address. Yes, can somebody respond? Did you people understood what is the meaning of ARP?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So let's just, I will give one simple example. I'll just take one new slide so that I can draw the diagram. Just give me a minute. See, this subject is not complicated. Try to relate with real-time examples so that you can understand better. Blindly don't study. If you try to relate to the real-time, whatever you're already using networks, no, so that you can easily understand the concept. So let me just take one example here to show you how exactly the ARP works. Okay, so for that I need to consider a device. So here I am taking my own example. Later I will give one example that is there in the textbook, so that I want you people to go through. Okay, and here I am just taking the simple example where you can just see in the network there are set of devices are connected. You can just give name. Okay, let me just go with the name of the device. This is A, this is B, and this is C, and this is D. Okay, so now consider device A want to send data to device. In between, in case if any network issue or if you're not audible, just show me. Okay, so in case if I'm disconnected, kindly just call. Okay, so here you can just observe. This is device 1, that is A, want to send data to D. Consider this device, it's not knowing what is the MAC address of this device D. Okay, so that is physical address is not known, but IP address is known. So in that case, what it can do, it can send a request. Okay, so that is called as ARP request. We have already discussed request response, how it works. But here it is with respect to finding the physical address, knowing the logical address. Okay, so this is ARP packet or ARP request. So what are the information it is going to have in this particular ARP packet? Okay, so just for understanding purpose, I'll just give. So that is IP address, A's IP address, I already told. Then A's MAC address or physical address, you can tell. Then it knows the IP address of this device, IP address of destination D. Okay, but it is not knowing what is the MAC address. So now to know this MAC address, it is going to send this ARP request. So this request, it will go to all the device. Okay, it comes to B and it will check, is it this packet is related to this particular device IP address, it is going to check. So this IP address is not matching, that means this device is not going to do, it will just discard the packet. And it comes to C, C's IP address is also not matching, it is also discards. And it goes to D, and here it is going to check IP address. Okay, it is matching with IPD. Okay, that means the IP address of this device. Now this device is going to respond to this request. Okay, that is called ARP response. Okay, in the response, what it is having, it will be having all this information. Okay, along with that, okay, its own IP address plus its own physical address or MAC address. Okay, and it is going to add all this information, so it has to specify to whom it is responding. Okay, so that is also very important here. So here it is going to add the source, because here it is sending this response back to the request. So the corresponding IP address should be specified and the corresponding MAC address also should be specified. And here only thing is, the additional thing is, it is adding its own MAC address and it is sending the response. So So when it is sending response, it does not request to go for broadcast. Okay, here you can just see ARP request packet. It is going to be a broadcast. Okay, it is going to be a broadcast because you have observed that that packet is sent to all the device. Okay, whichever the device it is matching with IP address, that is responding. So ARP request is going to be a broadcast. Example, how it is. Okay, so in your class, what I will do, consider it as physical class. I'll come to your classroom. I may just ask somebody else. Okay, so who is Sumit in your class? Okay, that is broadcast. I am just asking everyone. So that is called as broadcast message. So among in your class who all are there, okay, so if the student is there with name Sumit, then that particular student is going to stand up and he'll start responding to my request or whatever the question I asked. Okay, so that is going to be unicast. The response is going to be unicast, ARP, because only that student, only that particular student. In case if the with same name, if two students are there, then I can go with the USN. Okay, I can go with the USN. If I ask who is 0 to 1, okay, then only that particular student is going to respond. ARP response, that is going to be unicast. It is going to send only, that response message is sent only to that particular device which is made a request. Okay, it is not going to be a broadcast. Only request is going to be broadcast. Is it clear, this mechanism, how ARP works?
Yes, ma'am.
Arshita, understood? Recording. Just go through this. If you have any doubt, you can ask. So now I'll show you one example with respect to network. Abhishek, understood what I'm explaining? Abhishek Nayak.
Yes, ma'am. Understanding.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
Okay. So this is, I have taken my own example and this is the example given in the textbook. You can just look into this. See, by just knowing this, like without understanding the theory concept, if you go to the diagram, you may not understand. Okay. So first understand what is ARP, how it works. Then if you go to this diagram, I think everybody can understand. So here, I think in the previous diagram itself I told. So N indicates the IP address according to the diagram and L indicates the MAC address of each node. So that is represented here, a request. Okay, what is the request message? You can see this is system A and this is system B, and even you have other systems also connected. So looking for a link layer address of the node, IP address and N2. So IP address and also IP address this node, and also it want to know the what is the IP address of device that is assigned with IP address N2. Okay, so it is going to send the request. You can just observe request is sent to all the device. It is going to broadcast the ARP request. Broadcast means to all the nodes that are connected in the network. ARP request is going to be broadcast. Similarly, you can just go with replay. Okay, if it is replay, once if that particular device is identified and it want to replay back to the device A, okay, the system A, so it is going to be a unicast. You can just see this, there is a thin line, okay, with a replay message to this device. Okay, here these diagrams are, see, this is done with respect to LAN, within a LAN. I have taken example of LAN. Okay. This is ARP replay with unicast and ARP request with broadcast. So if you are comfortable with this diagram, you can just go with this diagram also. Okay, diagram is same only the notations used are different. That's all. I have just put a, instead of system, I have just put a box. So this also you can write. But the thing is, the explanation is very, very important. How exactly ARP works in terms of request and also in terms of response. So here we have a standard packet format for ARP. Okay, you can just observe here. So what are the fields it is present? So we'll just go with it is a 32-bit packet format. So total size is 32-bit. So in that 32-bit, so what are the information it is representing? So each field indicate a particular information. So you can just see there is the first field, that is 0 to 60. It is indicating hardware type. So your hardware type indicates, is it a LAN or is it a WAN protocol? So that is with respect to hardware type. And what is the protocol we are using? So that protocol type is specified in the second field. Okay, then hardware length. So here hardware length indicates what is the MAC address length. Don't get confused. So hardware length indicates what is the MAC address or physical address length. Then protocol length. So here what is the protocol we are using? That protocol information, ARP protocol. So that information should be represented in terms of length. Then operation, what type of operation it is performing, because we know that there are two types of operation. One is request and another one is a response. So if that is the case, so this particular packet belongs to what message? For that they have given the numbering. So here 1 indicates, okay, if the field is filled with number 1, it indicates that it is a request operation. Then followed by source hardware address. See, hardware address indicates it's a physical address. Physical address, or it may be a MAC address. So that address should be source. Source node means which is the device that is sending the request. So that particular device source hardware address. Then followed by the protocol address. Okay, and you can just observe here the blue color shaded area. So this is a question mark. Okay, because this device don't know what is the destination hardware address. That is the thing this message has to identify. Okay, so followed by the destination protocol address. So your protocol address is nothing but the IP address. IP address. So if they are asked in the exam, what is ARP protocol, explain with a neat diagram. Okay, so you need to, depending on the marks, this is destination IP address. But the physical address don't know, so because of that this particular field is going to be kept empty. Okay, so you can just go through this packet format. If you have any doubt, you can just ask me, because I have already discussed like how ARP works in terms of packet. So if you understood this, so understanding this, it is not going to be difficult. And you cannot change the format. Okay, it is a standard one. You need to represent as it is. That is, the fields you cannot exchange. So the first field, that is 0 to 16, it should be hardware type only. You cannot make it protocol type, because the format means it is a standard one. You cannot change it. So any queries with respect to ARP protocol? And reverse operation of this, it is, we call it as that is whenever if it requires to find the IP address knowing the logical address. Okay, in that case the protocol I already told, it is going to be RARP. RARP, that is reverse address resolution protocol. See, remember the key terms, it's very important. Any doubt here?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So here one more important thing I need to tell about the hardware field and protocol type. So here protocol type, so we already know that the different types of representing the IP address. So this is representing the what version of IP address we are using, IPv4. Okay, so protocol type indicates IP, is it IPv4 or IPv6. Okay, so hardware type indicates, here I told, is it a LAN or WAN protocol. So accordingly it has to specify the hardware type. So remaining all, so I think hopefully you have understood. So hardware length indicates the MAC address length, then protocol length, operations, what type of operation. If it is the value field in this field is 1, it is a request, and if it is 2, it is a reply. Okay, so let me just move on to, and this is one example. You can just go through this example. Example for ARP, how ARP works. Okay, this is ARP packet. Can you observe here? So this is ARP request. So that is from system A to system B. In case if any other device also it is connected, it is going to send this ARP request to all the devices. Okay, so here 001 indicates it's the LAN number, and this is the protocol type. Okay, and this is the MAC address. I think it is the length. Okay, hardware length and protocol type used. And this is 0001 indicates it is a hexadecimal number. Okay, 1 indicates the type of packet it is a request. Then followed by, what is the thing, followed by the MAC address of the device. So MAC address of the device is L1, and the logical address of source node is N1. The same thing it is represented, and here it does not note the what is the MAC or physical address of the destination. So that's why this field is represented with all zeros. Then the destination logical address, that is N2. Okay, so just be clear, L1, L2 indicates is the link layer address, N1 and N2 indicates the network layer address, that is IP address. So now this packet is sent as a ARP request. Okay, so it is going to be represented here, you can just observe. So this information, this complete packet information is added into this payload or data feed, and it is going to send this information. So what is this M? Okay, so here M indicates multicast. Actually it is a broadcast. It's supposed to be B. Okay, and followed by the source address. Which node is sending this information? That is A. So this is sent, and whenever that particular destination is identified, it will reply back. Okay, whenever it is replying, you can just identify. So what is the address it is adding? So the address is added here because this is a node it is responding. So that in that case, with respect to response, this becomes the source. Okay, so that's why source physical address and source IP address. Then this is the destination physical address and destination logical address, and it is going to be unicasted. Okay, what is the source node when it is sending the response? That is from B to A it is sending. So in that case, node B is the source and destination is B. Sorry, it is A. So this complete information we call it as ARP, a reply, and it is going to send from B to A. Okay, so this is very simple protocol that is used to identify or mapping of logical address to physical address. Okay, that's all about this. So let me just quickly move on to the next topic, and tomorrow I am going to take extra class. Okay, from 10 o'clock to maybe 1.5 hours. I'll just cover topic related to this IP addressing mechanism. Okay, what is IP address, the representation, in case if they give IP address, what are the different types of classification, all that we are going to discuss in detail about this in the tomorrow's class. Okay, so I have already taken permission from HOD, so I want everyone to attend tomorrow's class without miss. Okay, in case if anybody is celebrating festival tomorrow, so those people can get excuse, and others you need to attend. Okay, so let me just move on to the IPv4 addresses. Okay, so we have two types of IP addresses. The latest version is IPv6. Okay, we'll discuss this IPv6 later. So we'll just focus on to IPv4. So here V4 indicates the version 4. So the identifiers used in IP layer. See, IP layer is nothing but what? Can somebody tell what is IP layer? It is nothing but network layer. Okay, IP addresses are represented at the network layer. So IP layer or internet protocol layer of the TCP/IP protocol should identify the connection of each device to the internet is called internet address or IP address. So each individual devices in the network are identified with a IP address. So here we are taking example of the IPv4 address. Okay, so what is the address size? It is 32-bit address. IPv4 is 32-bit address that uniquely and universally define the connection of host or router to the internet. Okay, it is going to make a connection like in the network. There are so many, see, network means don't consider always 2 to 3 devices, globally connected devices. So all the globally connected devices, it is going to assign a unique IP addresses. So no two devices will be having the same IP addresses. That just be clear with that. Okay, so all the devices should be assigned with a unique IP address. The IP address is the address of the connection, not the host or router. Because device is moved to another network, the IP address may be changed. Okay, so IP addresses is going to be keep on changing. It is not going to be same. So even if you are changing from one network to the another network, so in that case the IP address is going to change, but not the physical address. Physical address is going to be same even if you are changing the network address, because it is a hardware address. Okay, so it depends on your NIC, the installed in your system, NIC. We'll just discuss if it is 32-bit address, so how many possible addresses it can generate. So the protocol like IPv4 define addresses as an address space. So you should remember address space. Address space means, okay, how many possible addresses it can generate. Okay, so if it is 32-bit, if it is 32-bit. Okay, the address space is the total number of addresses used by the protocol. Address space indicates the total number of addresses used by the protocol. If a protocol uses B bits to define an address, the address space is 2 power B. Okay, 2 power B, because each bit can have two different values. Okay, so the possible address here represented with 2 power B. If it is 32-bit, okay, so IPv4 supports for 32-bit address, which means the address space is going to be 2 power 32. It is almost more than 4 billion addresses can be obtained. Okay, more than 4 billion addresses can be obtained, IP address. Okay, so it can connect more than 4 billion devices at the same time using different IP addresses. So now how to represent these IP addresses? So I told it is 32-bit, but still there are different notations we can use to represent this IP address. There are 3 methods mainly. So I'll just explain about those methods and we'll end this, and the remaining part will continue in the next class. So here there are mainly 3 common notations used to represent the IPv4 address. So one we call it as binary notation, and the second one we call it as decimal notation, and the third one is hexadecimal notation. Okay, commonly we'll go with always the decimal notation. Okay, most of the time we are representing the IP address with respect to dotted notation, dotted decimal notation. So in binary notation, the IPv4 address is displayed 32 bit. Okay, in all the three methods, the number of bits used is 32 bits only. That is the length of the IP address. To make address more readable, one or more space are usually inserted between each octet. That means after every 8 bit, you can just, if you have seen or if you have checked your device to which IP address it is connected. Okay, so this is like, if I go with 8 bits, okay, after 8 bits there will be a space left, that is called as colon. That space is represented with colon. Okay, every byte is separated by a colon. So let's take some example for this. Okay, so you can just observe how the address is represented using all the three methods. Is it time up? Okay. Okay, just I will just explain this diagram and we'll end the session. And this is the dotted notation. So the value for each byte, it is going to range from 0 to 255. Okay, so each byte you can represent the numbers from maximum 0 to 255. The same thing you can just represent in binary. In binary you can see we have not given any colon or dot here. Instead of that, there is a space left out in every byte. So how many bytes are there here? 1, 2, 3, 4 byte. 4 into 8. So total is 32 bit address. And similarly in hexadecimal, the same address you can just observe how it is converted from binary to decimal and decimal to hexadecimal. This is hexadecimal value or IP address. So this is a commonly used method for representing the IP address. Okay, so we have a lot of things to discuss with respect to this addressing mechanism. So we'll continue this in the tomorrow's class. I want everyone who all joined today, so don't miss tomorrow's class. I'm not going to repeat once again that particular topic, but this is very, very important. You need to know